Hi, Badass Red Dress ladies, and welcome to day 3 of my 7-day challenge in getting unstuck and moving forward. So yesterday, I talked a little bit about the emotional scale and how we have a range of about 22 emotions that range all the way at the bottom from despair and depression and fear all the way up to the top, which is joy and empowerment and love. And those steps in between, we can take incremental steps, but we can't just move from joy or from depression to joy all in one step. We have to actually move incrementally through the different emotions. And as we move through those emotions, we gain clarity and we gain momentum in feeling better. And so what I want to talk about today is the one thing that is going to make a huge difference in your journey, and that is living your life with intention. Now, most people, they live life by default. They go along with what comes along. They're just kind of flowing with society, flowing with things that they were taught, the things that maybe didn't necessarily resonate with them, but I've got to get a job and I've got to make money and I've got to be in a relationship and I need to do these things because that's what everybody else expects me to do. But when we live in our lives by default, a lot of times we end up living our life for someone else, or we live it for society, or we truly just live it on the fly, and we don't create what we truly desire when we live life by default. And so in living your life with intention, it is so important to understand that you are responsible for you, not for anybody else. And that when you begin to take emotional responsibility for yourself, not for anybody else, that piece of intention right there is a critical turning point. When I was married, I blamed and pointed fingers at my ex-husband all the time, and I was sad and depressed and angry and in that bottom part of the emotional scale, just cycling through for years. And I never took responsibility for my part within the relationship, my piece of allowing things to develop the way that they did and to continue the way that they did. I was always looking outside myself, and I didn't turn inward and understand that I was truly living a life that wasn't for me, and I tried to live a life for everybody else. And when I finally came to that place of making the decision that it was time to end the marriage and move on in my life, I really didn't even understand what that was going to be and how that was going to work and what my journey was going to be. I just knew that it was time, and it was time for me to live for me. And what I've come to learn in my journey through that process is that I should be living a life for me, and you should be living a life for you, not living your life for a spouse or your children or your parents or your society or your community. You need to live your life for you, and that starts with your choices, your decisions, and your responsibility for your emotions. And that is one of the biggest pieces that I can offer for you tonight, is understanding that your emotional well-being, that your feelings are not dependent on anybody else. And in fact, in the relationship that I currently have, that is one thing that we talk about all the time, is that important in the relationship that I currently have is that we are not dependent on each other for the way that we feel. We're also not dependent on each other financially. And so for us, we have come together intentionally to create a relationship that we truly bring out the best in each other, and we can uplift each other knowing that I am emotionally responsible for me and he is emotionally responsible for him, and that even in times where we may do something or say something, we understand that what that person has done or said, however I'm reacting to that, that's up to me. And it's not about the other person who has done whatever it is that they've done or said whatever they've said. And that that's been part of our journey to get to that level. But we've really achieved that in being able to share anything with each other. And sometimes we'll disagree with each other, and that's absolutely fine, and it's cool to disagree. And even in times where we maybe will say something or we'll have kind of that little knee-jerk reaction to something, we understand that it doesn't come from a place of judgment or a place of negativity about the other person, that it's something that they're working through, and that I can then hold space for him and he for me when we have those moments. So in living your life intentionally, it is taking that emotional responsibility, and it truly will allow you to start living the life that you want to live. And you start to really tap into the authentic self, the authentic you that lives inside you. And it is so exciting when you reach that level of being so connected with your inner self, with your inner soul, and your authentic self continues to flow out. And that is a never-ending journey. And one of the beautiful things about life is that we can never get it done, and we'll never get it wrong. So no matter where you are in your journey, it is absolutely perfect and beautiful, and you just keep reaching for the next best feeling, the next best thing in your life, and that's how we continue to grow and move forward on our journey. So I look forward to talking with you some more tomorrow, and I wish you all the best. Cheers.